was sitting at the table, so we were talking to him for the whole second half.
Is he talking about his commercial?
Talking basketball. Said he played 14 years.
I'll just let one go there, right? Yeah. Should we listen? Should we listen back at all, or is that? I just, you know, I think that we were pretty close. Yep. So that, yeah, let's just start one. Whenever.
Whenever you guys are ready.
I don't think so. Just get rid of it.
So it's not the shot.
Yeah. That's right. Might as well. Was the I wasn't singing full bore, but I think we turned the vocal up last night a little bit, so.
Yeah.
Well, spend a little time standing on the front lines and you really can't talk at all. Your mind begins to wander. Is there any love at all? Photographs you took, yeah, there was something in their eyes. Every saint used to be a sinner. Every man used to be a child. You said it was all inside my blood, but you were wrong. There was grace. You saw the enemy. I saw your face. People like you spilling from space. You were wrong. I still have faith. Every time I feel the sunshine, I thank the Lord up above for seeing something, I couldn't see it all coming down hard, the feelings all gone. Well, we gonna hide. My wings are feeling clear now, and all I wanna do is fly. You were wrong. Now there was crazy. You saw the enemy. I saw your face. People like you and I spinning through space. You were wrong. I still have faith. I still have faith in you, Lord. Yes, I do. Now something's gotta get up, stand up, see through it. Gotta get this message to you. You see the light, don't be afraid. That there's no reason left to dream, Lord. You were wrong. There was grace. You saw the enemy, Lord. Now I saw your face. People like you and I spinning through space. You were wrong. There was grace.
Should we do the like song? I think the song from start to finish might be kind of a lot. It's like
Not necessarily, whatever you want to do.
just some jamming on. Just maybe do like a couple of those choruses. Cool. Are you guys ready? Okay.
From the center of the dark, yeah, I can
Yeah.
Singing more, dude.
I'm down.
We gotta sit down.
Nice little surprise.
Some new It's like pinatas.
Yeah, they're great margaritas.
Yeah.
That's what they're known for, I think. Yeah.
You're up there smiling and having a good time. Talk about just how much fun it is for you still to be writing music as good as you ever have and sounding better than you ever have.
Oh, thank you.
It just must be a thrill knowing your chops are better than ever.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, it's been a thrilling ride the last couple of years, and writing this record alive and just still doing it, still having a great time. I mean, and it's a beautiful thing. I mean, the relationship that I have with my fans has been so awesome for all these years, and to be able to deliver them a new record like Alive, which I think is some of my best, is pretty exciting.
Mm-hmm. Well, you connect with your fans in ways that few artists do, and there's a connection there. If you can kind of speak more to that, why do you think that is about what you bring to them and what they respond to? Because be it a live record or be it a self-titled, it's you, and that's the connection that's there. If you can just kind of put into words what that is.
Sure. Well, I mean, for me, when I sit down to write a song, write a lyric, I'm going for inspiration. That's the only reason I want to listen to music. I want to be inspired. I want to inspire myself. I want to bring it like that, and that's what I appreciate listening to too. So, I think that above everything else, that's when I hit the stage or hit the studio, it is like on in terms of how can I create music that will, spark that communal kind of experience that you get in a great concert or on a great record, just from a great song. And I just try to focus on that, moment after moment in the studio or on stage, and year after year, I'm still here, and they're still liking it. So
there are people that haven't been to one of your shows and haven't seen a DVD of one of your shows and know what it's like. It's something special. People are kind of clinging on your every word and movement, and you're carrying that crowd along with you. What's going through your head? What's the feeling you have during those moments?
During those moments, you mentioned it. It's really their joy. When I look down there and I realize that this little song I wrote in my room or whatever has touched their hearts and minds like that, I mean, it's overwhelming sometimes, and I feed off that. They're giving it, I'm receiving it, I'm trying to put it back out there, and we just go, man. It's been a long time, and it's better than ever, I think.
As is your music. Talk about this record for people that don't know and haven't been following all the ups and downs the last couple of years. How is this different? How is this the same? You can put into words.
Yeah, well, I started recording it last year in Austin, Texas, with new friends, new musicians, Rami Antun on drums, and James Gabby on lead guitar, and Chris Herline on bass. My brother Adam's also on tour with us in the live setting. So put that together down there, and just the core of what I do in terms of the inspiration and all that, and what I'm going after every song is there, and that's really, people are recognizing that, the fans are loving it, but there's also this freshness to it, where these guys are interpreting the space and the music in a whole new way and giving me a new sound. So it's kind of old and new.
How exciting is that for you to have that new element, one for you personally, too, to bring that to your fans?
Thrilling. It really is a thrill. We've done about 8 or 9 shows live so far. This is still a kind of a baby band in my experience, but man, the chemistry is amazing, and like I said, so far the fans are head over heels with it.
Is there a kind of putting yourself out there with the name, not having the live name behind it, that's kind of a more open? Is it more raw? Is it more of a bearing of your soul kind of thing, or is it the same?
Yeah, I mean, I think for years being known, as a guy in a band, when you take that down and you say, I'm Ed Kowalczyk. This is, my perspective, and there's definitely like, although I wrote all lyrics in live too, there's definitely a new kind of direct connect. That's just, it's subtle, but it's there, and you can, I'm kind of just trying to step into it and bring my best music out.
When you're performing, when you're doing Grace and you're doing Up Against, any of your old live songs, is it a different thing? Does something switch in your head, or is it all the same?
The old music, the new music, it all just flows together in my life experience, and it's beautiful to see that material over that long period of time, like kind of all marry each other in these shows. We haven't done that many yet, but so far, so pretty good.
How did all this music flow out of you on this new record? Talk about a little bit where these songs came from and how easy it all kind of came together.
Yeah, I mean, a couple years ago, just started to kind of conceptualize a solo record and what it would mean, and how, you know, new collaborations, new musicians, and that was really in and of itself an exciting idea. Didn't really know what I was going to do with it, but you know, it started to emerge from just that willingness to kind of like not think too much about it, just be an artist, you know, go into the unknown for myself, what that was, you know, which was new experience, and really making that move, deciding to do that, that's when the song started to come. That's when I really started to grab an acoustic guitar. I went out and did a bunch of acoustic shows by myself, you know, just an hour and a half of me and standing there and relating to people in a really new and intimate way that I'd never done on stage before. So that helped, you know, it all kind of worked together and just bring, I think, some really deep humanity into this album and into the lyric.
Mm-hmm. That said, though, you with the acoustic guitar, and this is not just a quiet singer-songwriter record at all.
No, not at all. It was kind of a Jekyll and Hyde kind of deal, because I was, you know, keeping it kind of close to the vest what I was actually doing, because I was like, you know, it was my baby. It was like I was working on it, wasn't saying much about it. You know, all the while I'm doing these acoustic shows, so people were online kind of like, is it going to be like a singer-songwriter kind of Jack Johnson type of record, because he's kind of doing that thing? And I kind of chuckled to myself, because I knew it was some of the heaviest stuff I've done in years. Songs like Grace and a song called Stand. So I was having a chuckle.
Why is that? Why that heaviness? Where does that come from in you now as an artist?
You know, I've always wanted to rock. You know, I mean, to me, the impact that a lyric deserves, you know, when you really feel good about it, is nothing does it like guitars, man. I mean, nothing sells it, nothing pushes it out there like a big guitar arrangement. So when these songs like Grace had this amazing, like, anthemic kind of great feel, it just flowed naturally into being a big rock thing. But the beautiful thing is when you work on the songs and you get them to where they should be, I think, in terms of being good, you know, you can break them down on piano, or you can break it down like this in an acoustic environment, and if they're good, they'll hang, you know, and they'll continue to inspire people.
Mm-hmm. You've had that confidence from the beginning as an artist to write those anthems and not be afraid just to go full on and have those soaring anthems. And where'd that come from you originally? You never were shy about writing those big choruses.
I grew up, you know, my first concert ever was 1987. I'll never forget it, the Joshua Tree tour with U2 at the old Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia. And I was done. I mean, I saw that show and I was like, okay, that's what I want to do. And that's how I want to sing. That's just how I want to, you know, I just want to make people feel like I feel right now. And so I took their lead. I took the U2 lead and said, okay, you know, just put it on your sleeve and rock. And that's what they did, and other artists too. But you know, they were really influential to me. So I'll never look back.
Mm-hmm. But you were able to pull it off pretty quick. A lot of artists want to do that, but don't have the talent or the kind of stage presence to make that work.
Yeah, I mean, I fell in love with it. You know, I fell in love with making these 3 or 4 minute songs that could really take people somewhere, like the places I was going, and you know, with bands like U2, and that's just what I do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How happy are you now with your place in like rock history? People put you up against people like Bono and Michael Stipe and Chris Martin and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what you say to that. It's flattering. You know, I'm so appreciative of the fact that, like I said, these lyrics, these melodies, these have really grown with people. Like you can't see that from your perspective when you're doing it. You know, you hope that they're going to do that. But now, you know, 15, 18 years into it, to see the music, you know, weathering so well through all the changes in the world and in the music business, and still matter as much as they do to people, that's really the dream come true.
Mm-hmm. The things you sing about, the personal stuff as well as those universal themes, and you meld those things so well. If you can kind of just put that into words in terms of the things on this record that you are kind of approaching and dealing with thematically.
Well, you know, a lot of the record's theme and the joy in it is really this sort of, you know, kind of going into the unknown, you know, which I think everybody, you know, no matter what you do, you get to a place in life where it's time to shake things up. It's just time to move out of the box that you're in. Even if it's a nice box, it's still a box. You got to move out and try new things. And so that's the spirit of this record. It's kind of like the reaching out into that. I know I'm supposed to go this way, but I don't know how it's going to work out. And so that in itself kind of lend itself to Grace and to the feeling behind songs like The Great Beyond. And yeah, so I think that hopefully people will feel that in the music and inspire them in their own life to just go.
Mm-hmm. What kind of response do you get from fans in terms of emails and letters and people that how your music has healed people and touched people and made them want to be artists, things like that. What's that like for you?
I mean, my day, every day, I go online and I'll check my Facebook fan page, and I get that every single day, all day long. I mean, that's my life. It's a beautiful thing. I mean, I can't, you know, I couldn't have dreamt it up. You know, the fact that I'll hear from somebody in the heart of Africa or India or something say, you know, the song, you know, Grace is inspired me in such a way I can't even believe it. I can't stop listening to it. Or Lightning Crashes, you know, I played that at my wedding, or you know, and it was just this deep moment between me and my wife. And I'll get these tunes about it, like people, you know, expressing themselves like that, and it's amazing. So I take that, I you know, I digest it in myself, and then I go out and try to hopefully put it into new music.
Mm-hmm. Does that right away make you every day inspire you to want to pick up the guitar and pick up a notepad?
Well, heck yeah, man. Every day.
Yeah. What does this future hold with this record in terms of touring, in terms of how you're going to be bringing the music out?
Well, we're going to tour all over the world. I mean, we're just kind of started, but we're going to go to well, there's some U.S. dates in July. We're going back to Europe. We're going to Australia, hopefully Brazil. We've already been in the Dominican Republic, which I'd never been before. So all over, and just, you know, bringing this music and this joy to people again.
Mm-hmm. You can just speak to the live fans that are unsure, they don't know. They're gonna watch our piece, of course, but
sure,
you know, that see your name on this record now and think, how's this gonna be different? You can just speak to them and say what people can expect.
I would say to all the live fans, I mean, come see Ed. You know, come see it, come feel it. Really, beyond seeing it, because that's the feelings what matters, and that's well intact and going deeper than ever. So come on out.
How often are you writing? How often are you spending time, even in the midst of all this, dreaming up something new?
You know, I was just thinking about that, because you have this intense period of writing, and then you record the record, and that's real intense and real, you know, technical and all that. And then you start to promote it and start to go, and that's the one thing that kind of starts to slip off to the side. Like, hey man, I haven't written a song in a while. I got to get back in there. So, you know, it's something you try to focus on the road, but for me, it's all about being home writing. So I think it's going to be a few months.
How do you balance family with all this and traveling the world? And
yeah, I'm blessed. I'm blessed with 2 young daughters, and wife, of course, and it, you know, I've been doing this basically since, you know, well, forever, since I was 19 or so, and so it's interesting. I remember I read that Mick Jagger was asked a question kind of like that, and he said, you know, as much as we're away, we're actually home, and when we're home a lot, 24/7 dad, you know. So sort of if you look at the whole year, in any given year, it all kind of ends up equalizing itself out, and iChat doesn't hurt.
you figure out how to make it work.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Skype.
Yeah. On this record, it's not just you, and it's not just the guys you mentioned, but you have people on this. I know Chris Daughtry's on this.
Well, I actually collaborated with Chris Daughtry on a song called "Drink Everlasting Love," and I'm buddies with him, of course, and Chris is a great singer, and he's incredible musical intelligence. I mean, great sense of melody and song structure. And we just kind of had this impromptu collabo at my house one night when he was playing a gig nearby my house, and it made the record. It's a beautiful song.
At the heart of all this, at least to me and a lot of your fans, is this amazing vocal instrument that you have. It's this great voice. And what's that like for you, keeping that up for one thing? And do you ever lose that? Do you ever get worried that, God, something's not right today? Or is it always that,
you know,
clear and great?
You know, touring is always challenging for a singer. You know, especially if you're going for it every night. You want to give everybody the feeling that their show matters the most out of 20 or 30 or 40 or 50. So it's funny, we went, you know, segue from the Chris Daughtry, you know, mention, is that him and I we'll be texting all the time, because we find out like little secrets. Hey, what have you tried this? You know, have you tried this? Somebody drinks olive oil. Well, I'm gonna try it. Oh, that made me sick. Oh. So we're kind of always trying to, you know, as singers, keep it up there. But I've been blessed with you know, taking care of myself, and just my aunt gave me a lot of vocal lessons when I was in high school. I was in the state choir, and so I think some of that stuck with me, just how to kind of sing from the diaphragm, all that technical stuff. But it's been working.
And you mentioned staying in shape. We're talking about the Philly food. And, you get to indulge when you're on the road? Or?
You know, yeah, I don't worry too much about it on the road. You burn so many calories on stage that you know, that's kind of the workout. So I don't concern myself. If anything, I have to remember to eat, because there's always so much going on.
Yeah. And just talk about something we've talked about before, and you've talked about in terms of faith in your songs and spirituality and stuff like that. And just put into words what that means and how that is relevant in this record.
Yeah, well, this record, well, I'm a believer in Jesus Christ, and So this record, as much as that my faith is in it, it's also a very universal appeal. I think a song like Grace really you can come to it from any angle, and I hope get something from it. And that's